Welcome, survivors, burnout community, and those just interested. It's Kelly Bubolz, trainer, author, speaker, and your burnout prevention mentor. Burnout is not taboo. It's our reality in this chaotic, fast-paced world. But we're not going to let it drive the narrative to our stories. We're going to do something about it. So let's dig in. Welcome to Think Different, where we're going to be taking progressive concepts and breaking them down into action plans within your workforce. Now, within this Think Different series, what we're doing is we're breaking down the workforce energy management model. This is the energy management model that has come out of burnout prevention courses that I've done over the last couple of years with clients. These are the things that are moving teams from that blah state, that zombie mode, back to liveliness. We're using the compass framework in which we're going to guide your team in a sense of direction back to liveliness, back to passion, back to focus and excitement. The section I want to talk about today is the bottom one. It's normally south on a compass, but in workforce energy management, we're calling it synergy. This is where we're going to build team energy. This is where we're going to build trust. Within this category, we're going to work on different courses and training modules in which we're going to get that collaboration going again through recognition, through building that trust between each other, through engagement, accountability. How do we hold each other accountable? How do we hold ourselves accountable? And this is going to naturally bring the synergy back to the team. Now, there's a key factor that we're going to talk about in synergy, and that's 360. That's the 360 scope that we're going to have to take, in which you kind of miss in other training modules on where we're going. So it's very easy to say we're going to get together as a team and do a team building activity, and you go back to work and it didn't work. Or the week later, it gets back to the gossip and the water cooler talk. And that's because you need to take a 360 approach. This is the 360 scope. Self, do I hold myself accountable? Do I trust myself and my capabilities and my competency to do the job? Am I recognizing all the work that I'm doing? Am I recognizing when I'm the villain in the story within my team? So that's the self-assessment that we take through the workforce energy management framework. And then across the team, am I building trust? Across the team, am I finding people reliable? Are they meeting expectations? Across the team, am I recognizing all their skills and efforts? And when they went above and beyond, it's not just for the leader to do, it's for your peers to do to each other. Upward with my leader, do I have high trust? Or are we just talking about tactical things when we meet one-on-one, if we're even meeting one-on-one? And then downward. Downward means, do I have a team underneath me? It might be your clients or customers. It might be the people you serve, the product or process. So downward, do I have trust in the process, the product, the clients, the relationships? Do I have trust that things are getting done? Am I recognizing them for their efforts? Or when we need to reroute, giving that crucial feedback, or am I avoiding that conflict? When we create a 360 scope in self, across, upwards to our leaders, and downwards to our clients, our process, our products, we're increasing that trust, that reliability, the accountability, and the recognition and engagement under the synergy category. Now, if you haven't already connected, let's make sure that we connect out on the social media channels, out on this YouTube playlist, and make sure you're subscribing and following, because we're going to dig further into this synergy category in the upcoming weeks. But the key factor in this is really where we're going to build value in each other's relationships, in ourselves, with our leaders and our clients, that 360 scope. And a good way to start that when I work with leaders is just increasing the questions that you're doing in your one-on-ones to value add questions. So we like to focus on projects and workloads and tactical things. Where do we need to shift? But really in the synergy category, we're going to be building relationships, building that trust and accountability between people. In order to do that, you have to switch to value add type questions. So here's a few questions that I found helpful with emerging and middle management leaders to feel a little bit more comfortable getting into this conversation. It will be a slow start if you haven't done value add questions before during your one-on-ones, but as you do more and more, the two people will feel more comfortable with this type of conversation. Once that conversation is complete, you can move into more tactical conversations, workload, things like that. So the first question is, what areas of your job require more guidance from me? As leaders, we are very much in the tell side of coaching, which means we tell them what to do. We tell them how we would do it. We tell them what has happened in the past. And what this is doing is it's decreasing the innovative and creative nature in people. It's taking away their autonomy to think by themselves. So why are we doing that in a very automated world and where technology is advancing? Why do we still have people if we're just going to tell them to do it our way? So a way you can step into more of a coach than a micromanager is using that question. What areas of the job require more guidance from me? What leaders will find out is the things that they're telling them day after day they don't need. And the things they're not telling them is what they really need. It's either information flow that they don't have, or maybe they don't even have access to certain folders and software that they need to do their job. Maybe they don't have certain tools to do their job in a functional manner. So asking this question kind of opens that door. Now, if you have a lot of reflective people in your team, you might want to put this in your agenda for your one-on-one and say, hey, I'm going to ask you this question during your one-on-one. It's not prompted in any way based on your performance. I just want to discover a little bit more about where I can give you guidance. Again, kind of getting that survivorship mode and defense down and come from an approach of building trust. So what areas of your job require more guidance from me? The next question is where you want to back off. And this is where you're going to need to do action. What areas of your job would you like less involvement of me? And where I say action is if they say something, please back up. Because as leaders, we want control. We want to make sure it's done right. We want to make sure it's done on time. We want to make sure it's done our way. And when someone expresses that they don't need help from you or involvement and they have it, and then you do it anyway, it almost creates a resentment between the two people. So if you have this discussion, make sure that you're acting on it afterwards and be okay that you have to let go of control. A way to be comfortable of letting go of that control, delegating it out, is to make sure that they're competent, that the expectations are clear of what complete looks like, and that they understand what success looks like in that type of task. So then you feel comfortable letting go and being less involved. Now, the last question is, what decisions outside of your position would you want input in or be part of? And you will discover the gaps, maybe between departments, operational flow hangups. You may discover that the communication you thought you were giving or the company was giving is not clear and concise throughout the organization, that they're missing information. You might find that the files you think you located in a certain folder is very apparent to everyone, and it's not in the place that they would put it. I remember in HR taking over from someone who was in finance doing the HR role, and he named all the folders in a very finance type of way. And so when I came into the role and I was looking for files, I couldn't find files for the life of me. And it's because we were speaking two different languages. He was speaking finance, organizing files in finance, labeling documents in finance language, and I was naming it in more of an HR type of file system that I've been trained in. So complete disconnect. You can see where the energy was lost. Certainly it wasn't dysfunction in our relationships. It just was a lot of stress and energy drainers just to find a file, just to find a document. So make sure that you're all aligned in expectations of what things are going to be called, how you're going to communicate, and where you're going to get input and where maybe that input is not a good use of your time. So these 3 value add questions will really increase the synergy in your team because you're having them one-on-one with each individual. You're guiding them through building up these relationships, building trust. You're guiding them through a piece of the workforce energy model, which is synergy. This is building up team energy. And you can do this through just value add questions. You can do this through just a series of weeks bringing up these discussions in your department meetings. And when we look at it in the 360 scope, where people are going to be working on it as individuals, on building trust with themselves, reliability, accountability, where they're finding their motivations and how to recognize their efforts, you will see it start to go outward across the team. You will start to see it go upward towards the leadership relationships. You will see it start to go outward and down to clients and processes and products that they serve. But in order to even start the process, in order to even start synergy, you need to take action, which means contact me for the Workforce Energy Management Program. We can start building out your specific program based on your energy assessment in your team. Or you can start with those value add questions. And the first step in all that, of course, is to think different.
I know you're not lazy. Most people in burnout are high performers, those serving others before themselves. Don't discount this step today, the action in which you focus on your self-growth. Piecing together the puzzle is half the journey. Rediscovering yourself, energy, and establishing new habits is the other. Do not underestimate the untapped inner strength inside you. Explore more resources on my website to move from zombie mode back to liveliness. See you soon.